Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. The people who control our media and hoax us with propagandist news stories know no shame. Yesterday, it was reported that there was a shooting in a black church. This one's a lot different than the Charleston church shooting, but it is coded by the same numbers, and I have no doubt it is done by the same gang of hoaxsters. This shooting comes in the same week in history that was the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, which took place on September 15th, 1963. I just put out a video earlier this week about the connections between the 63 bombing and the church shooting in Charleston on June 17th. We can now add this church shooting to the collection of black church terrorism, if you will, by the same numbers. The same numbers coded into the Charleston church shooting and the 63 church bombing are present in this, which I will show you right now. Notice that the shooter is supposedly a father who shot at his own family. His name is James Jr. Minter, age 26, supposedly. The name James Jr. Minter has gematria of 79, like the word murder, and 88, like the words poison and program. The funeral for the Charleston church shooting that President Obama showed up to, everybody was wearing purple. Purple also has that gematria of 88. Notice his initials, James Jr. Minter, JJM. J's the 10th letter, M the 13th. Put his initials together, it sums to 33, the number so often coded into hoaxes. The event took place on September 20th, 2015, a date with 44 numerology, also a date with 64 numerology if you want to add the 20 as well. 64 connects back to the original 63 church bombing, which we'll get to. His age of 26 is another one of these coded tributes. This is one of the numbers of God. The English alphabet is of 26 letters. In gematria, something much older than English, the God number is 26. Notice in Jewish gematria that God equals 61. I bring that up because church has simple English gematria of 61. This is a shooting in a church by a 26-year-old. Church, where people go to worship God. So the story, a mother, her newborn, and a pastor were shot Sunday in an Alabama church, and the baby's father is in custody, authorities said. James Jr. Minter, 26, is accused of opening fire inside the Oasis Tabernacle Church in Selma, Alabama. He faces 3 counts of attempted murder, Dallas County District Attorney Michael Jackson told CNN. How about that, Michael Jackson? Michael, of course, a 33 name. They love to use 33 names in these hoaxes. Not to say Michael's an uncommon name, but it shows up a lot in hoax reporting. So the church is the major giveaway, Truth Seeker. Oasis Tabernacle Church in Pythagorean gematria is 88, just like the shooter's name, James Jr. Minter. But with the S exceptions, it's 106. And this is the number of prophecy that is coded on the 63 church bombing and the more recent Charleston church shooting. The shooting took place in Selma, Alabama, having gematria of 27 and 36. Notice above that Oasis and Tabernacle also have gematria of 36. 36 is an interesting number because if you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666, 666, the number associated with the mark of the beast. 44, also a fateful number, but at the same time a spiritual number. Yesterday's date had 44 numerology, just like the words kill, hope, faith, karma, the duality of the number. The shooting came 95 days, or 3 months and 3 days, a lot like 33, after the Charleston church shooting, which took place on June 17th. The date Rodney King supposedly died on at the age of 47. Rodney King, who was beaten March 3rd, 3-3 by the LAPD with gematria of 33, just like the word police, just like the acronym KKK. If you include the end date from the date of the Charleston church shooting to yesterday's church shooting in Selma, it was a span of 96 days, another very important Masonic number. With regards to 95, though, the reflection of 95 is 59, and 59 is a number coded on black Americans throughout history. Motown Records came out in 59, along with Miles Davis, who has name gematria of 59. In case you missed my post on the 63 bombing and the Charleston church shooting, I want to show you what you missed out on. The church bombing in 63 took place on September 15th, 1963, a date with 106 numerology. Also a date with 34 numerology. The word church has Pythagorean gematria of 34. The date of the church bombing in 63 had a life lesson number of 43. What's interesting is the church shooting in Charleston. Charleston has gematria of 43. Charleston is where the Civil War began. Civil War has gematria of 43. In the Charleston church shooting, CNN broke the news, and they had this fire truck like a prop just driving back and forth with number 106 on it, and this fire truck was flying the Tea Party flag. Tea Party has gematria of 106. This is the recent Charleston church shooting, the worst act of terrorism in a black church since the 63 church bombing. I've done several videos on the Charleston church shooting. Dylan Stormroof, the whole thing is a giant hoax, just as this James Jr. Minter story is a hoax. All of these stories are for the purpose of psychological control and pushing through an agenda, a narrative. So, we got to wake up, Truth Seeker. With regards to yesterday's church shooting, the date was 9/20/2015. You can also add numerology this way, and it sums to 64. We did the 44 connection. With regards to 64, the church bombing in 63 killed 4 black girls, which happens to have gematria of 64 and 73. This incident became part of the momentum for the Civil Rights Act, which was passed in 64. Notice that civil rights has gematria of 64 and 73. Again, Civil Rights Act passed in 64. And the time of the bombing in 63 was 10:22 a.m. That's interesting because if you drop the 0, you're left with 122, and the recent church shooting sparked a national debate about the Confederate flag, which has gematria of 122. And with regards to Confederate, the word, whoops, I don't want flag. I just want to show you the word Confederate. It has the gematria of 96, like Freemason. I just showed how the spacing of the church shooting and yesterday's church shooting, the Charleston church shooting of June and yesterday's, had a connection to a span of 96 days. Also, Truth Seeker, I pointed out at the time how the Civil War was being recreated in Charleston and Baltimore. Baltimore has that gematria of 95. If you're not aware, the Civil War began in 1861. First shots were fired in Charleston. There were no casualties. That was April 12th, 1861. This year, April 12th, 2015, Freddie Gray in Baltimore was supposedly injured in police custody on April 12th and died exactly a week later, April 19th in Baltimore. In history, the first casualty of the Civil War was April 19th in Baltimore, just like Freddie Gray, and those deaths came from gray coats. This year, Freddie Gray was injured on April 12th and died a week later on April 19th. In history, the first shots were fired in Charleston on April 12th, and the first casualty was in Baltimore on April 19th. So, they're recreating the war, they're recreating important dates, and they're hoaxing us by the numbers on these dates. Please check out my prior video. This recent church shooting backs up what I just presented and why they're coding these numbers, such as 106, 88. These are numbers of significance. And now this 106 has shown up in all 3 black church terror acts that we're aware of in this nation. This one's a lot smaller than the other two, but done by the exact same numbers. And look at how this guy is grinning and smiling. I mean, I don't know him. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but sometimes I wonder if they find people, that are missing a screw loose or have a screw loose and just get them to confess to things they didn't do. It certainly seemed like they did that with Juan Francisco Sanchez Lopez, the hoax Hispanic shooting in San Francisco, the man who found the federal agent's gun on the pier and supposedly shot a 31-year-old woman. Do you remember that story from earlier this year? It happened days after Donald Trump said he was running for president and Mexicans were terrorizing the nation. It's all a joke, Truth Seeker, and it's always coded by these same numbers. James Jr. Minter. Not only do the initials have the 33, so does the name Jr. It has that gematria of 33. All right, until next time.